All right, so our physical appearance obviously changes. We're getting older. We know older people look like old people. Your skin is going to get a lot thinner. It's going to get more wrinkled. You're going to have those age spots that we talked about in the last lecture. Uh, Ears, nose, teeth, hair change. Your ears actually get kind of longer and droopier. Your nose gets a little bit bigger. Your teeth yellow. Your hair gets more brittle and white. Yay. You lose weight, you lose height and weight after age 60. Not as much if you continually are working out and being healthy. Then you don't lose as much height and weight. As far as being underweight after the age of 60. Your muscle strength starts to decline, so you just you just don't have as much strength as you can. Even if you've been, working out and doing everything, you still are going to lose muscle strength because your body is, heading downhill. It's starting to break down. Your bones aren't going to be as strong, which already was happening before we even hit 65, and you are going to tend to be less flexible. I already said that a good health and aging requires optimism, but it also requires self-efficacy. So feeling like I can do things for myself and I know how to do stuff. So also having kind of high self-esteem, right? Knowing that I'm capable of doing things and taking care of myself is really important for healthy aging. Socioeconomic status, again, if you're richer, you tend to have better health because you have access to better things. Ethnicity, same thing, right? White people tend to be healthier. Females tend to have better health and aging things, nutrition and exercise, right? These are all things that we've talked about in the past. All right, so our nutrition in late adulthood, we're going to need some extra nutrients as our bodies are not kind of processing stuff like it used to. It's going to help protect our bones, it's going to help us with our immune system, because your immune system is not great as you get older, as we are now finding, if you didn't know before, in this coronavirus, COVID-19, who are the most at-risk populations? Older people. Why? Not great immune systems. All right, your immune system starts to not work well as you get older, because it's, saying, I don't need to work as hard. You're not having babies anymore. You're not keeping the species going. You need to die soon. It's pretty much, it's just biology. You're also more likely to have what are called free radicals. So free radicals are atoms with an unpaired electron that can just wreak havoc in your cells, and they are linked to cancer. So when we eat things and ingest things that have antioxidants in them, what antioxidants do is they fight free radicals. And so the more antioxidant rich foods that you get into you, the more you kind of fight off these free radicals, which can help keep you healthier longer. So our good antioxidants are vitamins A, C, and E. So remember ACE. Right, A, C, and E. And guess which foods have a lot of vitamins A, C, and E in them? Let's say it all together, everybody. Green leafy vegetables, always going to be your best choice. Some problems that we run into, though, with our older adults is eating problems. A lot of times older adults can just lose their appetite. They don't really realize when they're hungry. They also don't taste as well. Now, it's not because your tongue isn't working like it used to. So the taste buds in your tongue actually work fine your entire life. It's because your olfactory bulb isn't working as well. And so your nose isn't able to smell as many things, and then that affects taste, and then things don't taste as good as they used to. You may have some chewing and digestion issues, right? Especially if you don't have your own teeth anymore, or your teeth aren't, as healthy as they used to be. It may be harder for you to digest foods. A lot of older people can't handle spicy foods. You may not be able to shop for yourself. You may not be able to cook for yourself anymore, and so sometimes they end up not eating it like they should. Supplements can help, but we really do want them to be eating a maintained diet that is very well balanced for them, with a lot of good fruits and vegetables. Hey guys, guess what? I'm going to throw in some final exam questions here in the middle of this, just in case some people have figured out I say them at the end of the lecture. Sneaking them in now for those of you who actually listen to the whole lecture. All right. Answer to number 9 on the final exam. Get ready to write this down. Number 9, answer, prenatal diagnostic methods. That's your answer for number 9. And your answer for number 10 is farewell despite the risks. Farewell despite the risks. It's the answer number 10. Now you have the answers to 10% of your final exam. You're welcome. I know some of you thought that this was some sort of like weird psychological hoax that I was playing with you, and they're not actually the answers to the final exam, but they very much are the answers. That would be so mean of me. I'm not a mean person. I'm quite nice. So these are actually the answers. Now you have the answers to questions 1 through 10. Go you. All right, moving on. What about exercise in late adulthood? Guess what? Old people don't exercise, not as much as they should. It should just be continuing. You should just start exercising and not stop. We all should just be exercising, but of course we don't. Benefits, physical capabilities, capacities, you can do more as long as you keep exercising. Your bones and everything move better. It also helps your brain. Physical exercise very much helps with brain health, your ability to use your brain to remember things, to think. It helps to push away dementia. Like, we want you to be exercising as much as possible. And it helps with self-esteem. You feel better when you exercise. And it helps release endorphins, which make everybody happy. A lot of older people aren't aware of the benefits, so that can be a barrier for them exercising. And, you know, it can be uncomfortable, especially if they have arthritis, you know, osteoporosis, things like that. But there are, you know, older adult-friendly type of exercise programs that can take that into account and help them stay moving. So make sure Grandma and Grandpa, Nana and Papa, and Nani and Mima and all of them, you go call them and you say, hey, get out there, exercise, it's important. All right, now comes the time of the semester that I love because it makes everyone really uncomfortable. And I'm very sad that I don't get to see your little uncomfortable faces as I talk about old people having sex. But guess what? Old people have sex. It's still important. That's right. There may be less desire and frequency. For women, there's fewer male partners. But married couples still enjoy regular sex. That's right. If your grandma and grandpa are still alive and married, they're having sex. They might be having sex right now. Think about it. Yep, that's why they're not answering your phone call when you call to tell them to exercise, because they're doing it. You tend to continue patterns from earlier years. Right? If you were a twice-a-week couple, you tend to be a twice-a-week couple. If you were a, 4 times a year couple, you keep that pattern up too. Whatever you are. They tend to enjoy activities other than intercourse. Yeah, let that sink in. What's that mean? Yeah, all the other stuff you can do other than, penis and vagina type stuff. Or, other places that you can put your things into, because gay and lesbian older people are still having sex as well. Men sometimes stop due to erection problems, but hey, we got stuff for that. We have pills that help with erection problems. We have penis pumps that older gentlemen can use that help to get the erection going, all kinds of stuff, and they are covered by insurance, so fun for you. Cultural differences, a lot of disapproval in Western cultures. We kind of get all grossed out when old people are, making out. We're like, ew, old people making out, gross. That's a very Western way of looking at it. It's actually a very American way of looking at it. And other countries, it's, seen as just like, of course old people still kiss and hold hands and do naughty things with their mouths and fingers and other parts. So yeah, they're still, they're having sex. And there's a lot of, important things that they need for having sex. Like, lube. Make sure they have that. If you want to get your grandma, a tub of lube. I'm sure she would appreciate it. They make little wedges that the older people can put underneath them to kind of raise up their pelvic area to make it easier. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, you want to Google that? Google, sex stuff for older people. Maybe don't Google that. That might bring up some weird things for you. But there's a lot of stuff out there to make sure that older people that still want to be doing it are still doing it. Actually, it's so 16 to 25-year-olds have the highest rates of STDs. You know who has the second highest rate of STDs? People over the age of 65. Second highest rate of STDs are these guys, because they're having all the sex. Because what aren't they worrying about? What don't they need to worry about after 65 and having sex? Getting pregnant. So they're not using condoms. Because they're like, why? I'm not going to get pregnant. Well, guess what? Still going to get chlamydia. So we do have a lot of STD of problems that are older people, especially older people that live in older adult facilities and like older adult communities, you know, like those ones where you have to be 50 or older to live in, and it's like a golf course and everyone has little golf carts. Well, guess what? They're getting in those golf carts and they're going around having sex with everybody and they're passing around the gonorrhea. So if your grandparents live in one of those communities, maybe slip one of those STDs and you pamphlets into their bathroom reading list. All right. Primary and secondary aging. I'll stop talking about your grandpas having sex now, even though they totally are. So primary and secondary aging have to do with kind of what and how are you aging. So primary aging are things that happen to everybody if you are part of our species. Every human being will have these things happen. So think about what are some things that everyone will have happen as they get older, no matter where you live. All right, are you thinking about it? I'm pretending I'm looking at you all in the classroom. All right. So wrinkles. We're all going to get wrinkles. Everybody wrinkles. Just happens. All right. Gray hair happens to everybody, no matter where you live. Right. These are all things that are genetically influenced. They happen to every member of the species. Even happens if you're in good health. Doesn't matter. We're all going to get old. These are things that are all going to happen to us. Secondary aging are things that are due to heredity and environment. So they may be due to your own personal heredity and your environment, but they are specific for you. And they don't happen to everybody. So the effects are individualized, right? It's because of your personal, genetic background and your personal environment that you have been raised in, lived in, things like that. So these are different illnesses and disabilities. They're not going to affect everybody, but they're going to affect some people, and they are going to contribute to aging, like arthritis, diabetes, any kind of injury that you have, slip and fall, having to get a new, hip, that sort of stuff, and all mental disabilities that can happen, like Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, that sort of thing. That's all going to fall underneath secondary aging. So arthritis is extremely common as we get older. There's different types of arthritis. Common for older people is osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. Osteoarthritis is when the cartilage in your joints starts to deteriorate, and as that happens, then it's kind of bone on bone and it's going to hurt. And it's going to happen mostly in your frequently used joints. So you see it a lot in your hands, elbows, knees, right? Things that you bend and use a lot. It's very common to have osteoarthritis, and it's just really related to wear and tear. The more you've used those joints, the more likely you are to get osteoarthritis in them. Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease, and it's going to affect the whole body, all of your joints. You're going to have inflamed connective tissue within the joints, and it's going to be everywhere. So pain kind of throughout the whole body. The cartilage grows and starts to deform the joints, and with that you start to lose mobility. You start to not be able to move the joints anymore. So this is much more common in older people, but there is a juvenile form of this, with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. And when young people are and children are diagnosed with this, they usually will end up in a wheelchair before they even hit adulthood, because that cartilage growth starts to make it so they can't even walk. It's quite sad.